Welcome to the Self-Love Model. On this podcast, we have open-hearted and honest conversations about all things self-love and the journey of self-discovery. This podcast is for those on an everlasting journey of their own evolution, and most importantly, a safe space for us to heal together. I'm your host, Sid, and welcome to your self-love session. Hello guys, welcome back to the Self-Love Model, or if you guys are new here, my name is Sid, and I feel like I'm being a lot right now, but it's also been a minute since I've podcasted, so please just bear with me. We're a little rusty right now, but we're gonna get back into the swing of things, and I know I've been really inconsistent when it comes to podcasting, but truth to be told, I've just been going through a lot of stuff, and I feel like that's such an excuse when I say it like that. But since the last time I talked to you guys, which was I want to say June, and we're officially now in September. So it's been a minute, and I feel like even with the last episode, that episode explained why I took a break, and then of course right after that, I took another long break. So there really just hasn't been a good consistency with my podcasting. And honestly, that is for a good reason, because if you guys listened to the last episode, you know that I was going through some personal things. I went through a friendship breakup that really impacted me in a really big way. And I just feel like since then, there's been a lot of life changes, and life just has been moving at a really fast pace. There's just been a lot of things happening. And I know some of you might be like, well, Cindy, it was a friendship breakup. Yes, we know it's hard, but I know it may sound silly, but honestly, the friendship breakup, it wasn't just that. Yes, that was really, really hard for me to go through. And I really allowed myself to sit with those feelings and to process everything that came along with it. But the friendship breakup, it really brought a lot of things up for me, and it really opened up a lot of old wounds that I had, and it just triggered a lot of things within me, and it forced me to look at my wounds again. But this time around, I looked at my wounds with a fresh set of lens, from a new perspective, because now I know all these things. I have taken the time to heal and do the work, and because of that, I was able to revisit these wounds now with an even better understanding of how to navigate them, and also at the same time look at those wounds with a deeper lens, and I feel like that's what the healing journey is all about. I've mentioned on the podcast multiple times that with our healing journey, there is no destination that we are ever going to arrive. And I feel like it's not a linear journey. There's going to be ups and downs. And sometimes we feel like we're going at a certain pace, but then we might take a little detour and we might revert, and I feel like that is all a part of the journey. And yeah, so I feel like that's what I really went through since April, when I started really experiencing these things that were happening in my life, going through the friendship breakup and then looking at my wounds. And that's why I took a step back from consistently podcasting, because my podcast is so much about healing and the inner work, self-development, our mental health, all of that, right? That I've felt like I needed to take some space away, because I had so much personal things going on and things that I was dealing with, that I needed to take the time to heal myself and to really process everything, and to just take the time to do that. And truly, I feel like because I took the time to really face my wounds and just taking the time to slow down, I truly feel like I've come out of it, on the other side, a new person. And I feel like I've matured so much just within so let's say May, June, July, August. yeah, like within the last 4-ish to 5 months, I feel like I've already noticed a huge amount of growth from myself because of what had happened. And even though it was really hard at the time, I can now look back and really be thankful for what happened. And I think that's a really good feeling, you know? But yeah, with that being said, there was a lot of lessons that came along with my break that I took. I would like to tell you guys that I'm going to be back consistently, but I don't know for sure yet because I am still reworking things. And, you know, I've started a new YouTube series called The Body, and there's just other little things that I'm doing, you know, all these little side missions that I like to pick up along the way. So yeah, I would definitely like to get back to more of a consistency with podcasting because I genuinely have missed this, and I feel like this is truly what, like, it really fulfills me. And since I started the podcast, I feel like it's just brought me to another level within myself, my confidence, and to be able to build a community and to connect with you guys with my stories and what I've learned. I know a lot of you guys can either resonate with what I'm going through, what I've gone through, or you just by listening to me and what I share, you feel seen in a way. And that is like the most important thing to me, is for you guys to feel seen and heard, because that is a huge deal for me personally. So yeah, with that, all that being said, another thing that I am really embracing now too is just learning to not force anything and just to go with the flow of things, right? So I feel like in the past I would beat myself up. I'm like, man, I'm not being consistent with like posting my episodes, and like I need to, like, especially when I first started. But I also feel like that's a different story, because when I first started, I feel like I needed to hold myself accountable to show up bi-weekly with my episodes to build a sort of routine, right? But now I'm kind of at this point where I've been transitioning as a person and going through change as a person, to where my podcast is also changing as well, because my podcast evolves with me. So I needed to take some time to really step into this new version of me. So it only makes sense that I take a break from podcasting. But yeah, I feel like I've just learned, like, Cindy, like, I am the only person who is putting that pressure on myself, and I just wanted to not feel like I'm forcing myself to do something, and instead be in flow, because I feel like when we're doing things out of flow, not out of force, it comes with a better intention and better energy. It's like almost the same thing as if you're doing something out of love versus doing something out of fear, right? So yeah, I feel like we just started the episode, and of course I'm already going on tangents. But another point that I also want to make too is, when you're a multi-passionate person, which I feel like a lot of you guys that listen to this can identify as a multi-passionate. When you're a multi-passionate person, obviously we have so many passions, so many different things and side missions that we will take on. And I feel like it's really important to learn that in different seasons of our lives, that certain side missions will become the main mission. And that's okay, you know? Like, we are only one person, and we cannot expect ourselves to do everything at once, right? So I think for me, I just realized that maybe within the last 4 months, podcasting kind of took a step back as I was figuring myself out and kind of figuring out how the podcast was going to grow with me. So I started to focus more on photography. I started a new series, right? So those took up my main focus. But now podcasting, she's coming back, baby. So yeah, I feel like that was another lesson I learned and wanted to share with you guys. But the main reason that I wanted to make an episode for you guys today is because I have something so exciting to share. I am hosting my very first, drumroll please, self-love party. Okay, so yeah, I am hosting my very first self-love party, and I am collaborating with the new Laila Lounge. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Laila Lounge, but this is the Laila Lounge is in the West Bottoms, I believe. Yeah, I've been there. I'm just really bad with directions. It's in the West Bottoms, and it's just like a luxury, almost like exclusive feeling, like night club slash lounge. It's like a hyper lounge. That's what they call it. But every night of the week at the Laila Lounge is never the same. Like on a Thursday night, they might have like live jazz performances. On a Friday night, they might have like flamethrowers or just like different performances every night. I've only been there once, and we actually left before like the performances came on because we're a bunch of grandmas, and that's okay. But yeah, so I'm gonna be hosting my very first self-love party, and this is actually something that I've wanted to do ever since I came up with the idea of the Self-Love Model podcast. Legitimately, I remember when I came up with the Self-Love Model, the podcast, and what I wanted to do with it, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, like I want to like have this community of women. And I feel like, we all want to have a community, right? I feel like every person that is building something, they want to build a community for themselves, because having a community is where it's at. It is like so important and so nice to have a community of like-minded people. So I knew I wanted to build a space with like-minded women and a community, and I wanted to do events and stuff like that. And I remember I wrote out a whole retreat, like a whole weekend retreat thing on my notes app. Like I probably still have the notes app, and I even wrote out activities, like timelines, like from this time to this time, like what we would do. Like I just one night had all these ideas and just wrote it all down. I want to see if I can find it when I came up with it. I have so many notes in my notes app, guys. I don't know if you guys are like me, but anytime I get an idea, I have to put it down in my notes app. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's just gonna be gone. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Self-love. I don't know what I would have titled it as, but let's see. Okay, yeah. So yes, literally January 11, 2024, I wrote down, I put host free workshop weekends for women, curate a venue and vendors. And I put down possibilities of locations I could do it at, how many people I would want there and activities and all that stuff. So this is something that I knew I wanted to do, but I didn't know how it was going to happen, when it would happen. And I kind of just forgot about it, right? And started the podcast. And I knew eventually, down the line, when the time was right, this would happen. And the Laila Lounge just opened it's probably been almost a month now that they've been open. And I remember they had their grand opening day, and I didn't go to it, but I just remember a couple days later, I was on Instagram. I was actually laying in bed, just scrolling on my phone, and I remember coming across Laila Lounge's post, and I was literally looking at it. I was like, wow, this place is so cute. It's all hot pink on the inside. It's such a vibe. I love how they have branded themselves. If you guys go on their website, I just love their vibe. It just feels very up my alley, how their drinks are named after goddesses and just stuff like that, where I was ooh, I'm really vibing with this place. I want to go check it out. And as I was scrolling and just looking at Laila, I get this message from this guy, and he basically asked me if I want like if I would be interested in like hosting an event there. And I was like, yeah, yes, I would absolutely love to do that. I just thought it was crazy because I was literally on my phone, like scrolling on their page, and then I get this message. So then I started talking to him, and mind you guys, I've never ever planned an event. I am not an event planner. I don't know what, like, I don't know. But I said yes, and I decided to plan this event with them. And I'm not going to lie, I have definitely had my own self-doubt come up like throughout this process of planning this event. And I definitely found myself like wanting to like back out of it. And I feel like that was because I was hitting my upper limit. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term upper limit, but for example, so we all have like an upper limit in our lives when it comes to different things. For example, like a lot of us, we have an upper limit of how happy we can be or how happy we can feel in our daily lives. And when like life starts to get too good, or when we start to feel too happy and we start to exceed that upper limit, that is when that's when we can almost start to self-sabotage ourselves. We're like, oh my gosh, life is too good right now. You like almost subconsciously like start to do something to self-sabotage to kind of bring yourself back down to that upper limit. So I feel like that was what I was experiencing, and I was like so excited about it, but then I was also like so scared about it because obviously, you know, I have those, it's natural to have those thoughts of like, oh my gosh, like what if like no one even shows up? Like what if it just like, what if I just do such a bad job and like no one has a good time? And I'm gonna be so honest, these are thoughts that I have and it still pops up, but every time like, Cindy, stop. Like those are just my fear like speaking. Those are my fearful thoughts coming up. But at the same time, you know, I wasn't going to ignore them. I was acknowledging, yes, like it is scary, but like really just being aware of those thoughts and reframing it like, okay, but what if this turns out so well? Like, what if it's like such a great event and people like get so much out of it and they make new friends, you know? So just having to like remind myself of that and reframe those thoughts each time that it comes up. But there were a couple days where I was like, man, like, I don't know if I should do this. Like, am I taking on too much? To where I felt like I really hit my upper limit, and I was like, I feel like subconsciously I was kind of like self-sabotaging myself to where I was like coming up with excuses on why I shouldn't do it. But it's okay. I was able to overcome those excuses, those thoughts, and I sat down one night and thought about how I wanted like everything to look. So after he had reached out to me about planning the event, I remember just that night, like that morning, I like just kind of laid in bed again and was on my phone. I was like writing out, okay, like, because he didn't really give me much details of what like to do, because he didn't want to limit me on what I wanted to do, right? Which I appreciated that. So I just kind of like sat on my phone. I was like, okay, like if I was to host a self-love party, like how would I want the vibes to be? Like, what would my intention be with it? So I sat down and I just kind of like typed out what I wanted the event to be like. And even just like pitching those ideas was really scary to me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like what if he's like, who is this girl, you know? But luckily he thought it was a good idea and we like rolled with it. So then one night I finally had time to sit and think about, okay, now that I have an idea of like what I want to do, how am I actually going to make this happen, right? It's like you have this idea what you want to do, but actually like making it happen. And luckily, so after he had reached out and we started talking, my friend Amanda, she had a birthday, and we decided to go check out the Laila Lounge because, you know, I wanted to like go in there, like really get a feel for the vibe of the place and see if I actually like being there, right? And we went, we had an amazing time there. And I remember like being there, sitting on the bar top, like I was literally just like taking in the entire room. I was looking in every corner and like really just like taking it in just so I can like visualize how I want to do things. So that was nice. I got to like actually experience a lounge myself, like just on like a little girls' night out. So yeah, I sat down and was able to plan out the event. And honestly, I like really surprised myself because once I like actually sat down and just like thought about the event and started like putting a mood board together, I was like, oh my gosh, like I think I am onto something. Like ideas just started popping up and I was like, yeah, like we're doing this. We are so doing this. So long story short, we are hosting the first self-love party at the Laila Lounge September 18th. It is a Thursday night. Listen, I know it's a weeknight, but we're not gonna like party till 3 a.m. So don't you worry, because I'm a grandma. It'll start at 8 p.m. and it's close enough to the weekend. You know what I'm saying? You can have a drink or two and come hang out, connect, and just vibe with us. So here is how the night is going to work. I feel like I've talked so long already. I was like, Cindy, let's keep this podcast episode short, okay? Let's like keep it under 30 minutes. But I'm just a talker. Okay, so here's how the night is going to work. You guys are going to arrive at 8 p.m. And once you arrive, the experience is going to start at as soon as you guys walk in. There's gonna be affirmation mirrors, a little sneak peek into what to expect. And then from 8 to 9, that's kind of just like the time that I've set for people to like mingle and to get drinks, to really just take everything in, because I don't know about you guys, but anytime I go somewhere, it like takes me a sec to really just like take in a place, because I get overstimulated really easily and I'm a highly sensitive person. So any new environment, space I go to, I just like need a minute to like really take in my surroundings and to just like relax, because sometimes I can be a little anxious. I'm a little anxious girly, so I like kind of like get anxious, but then I just need like a minute, find my spot, take in my surroundings, get me a drink, and then I'm good. You know, I'm ready to like rock and roll. So yeah, I figured from 8 to 9, and I know a lot of people probably arrive like a little bit later, but I figure it's a Thursday night, so hopefully you guys will be on time. So like an hour, because there's like the affirmation mirror, which is going to be interactive. So for people to do that, take some pictures. So then 8 to 9 will be mingling time. And then at 9 o'clock, that's when the event itself is going to start. And your girl, is going to jump on the mic. And I'm just gonna do a quick short introduction and kind of explain the night for people who haven't listened to this episode, and kind of explain how the night is going to work, and also help you guys set intention for the night as well. But yeah, so this night, so for this party, one activity that I really want people to do is called the One Connection Challenge. So what this challenge is that I want you guys to come to this event and to come out of it with at least one new connection, because every time when I go to an event, something that I would do, like whether it's a networking event or just like a hangout at someone's house or something where I am going out to connect with people and to have a good time, I usually on the way there will always set an intention of how I want to feel throughout the night and what my intention is for the night, right? And usually my intention is I would like to make at least one genuine connection. Instead of, trying to talk to everybody and like make these surface level conversations that actually drains my soul, my intentions is always I just need to make one new connection. That's it. I don't need to talk to everybody. I just need to find one person who I gravitate towards, whose energy I like, and who I want to be friends with, and go up to that person and just have a genuine, deep, it doesn't have to be a deep conversation. Like, you know, we don't need to spill like all of our traumas and all of that, but like just really get to know someone, right? So that's just how I want the night to be. So in order to do this, there's going to be like a connection card, and on this card there'll be like questions that you can ask the other person, and the other person can ask you questions. So basically it's really up to you once the event starts to find someone who maybe you like that person's outfit. You can go up to them, tell them, hey, I really love your outfit, because I didn't mention this, there will be a theme, and I know we all love a theme. So the theme for the night is old Hollywood glam. I decided to do this because I just felt like the night of my event is going to be jazz night at Laila Lounge, and I just feel like jazz night, the hot pink, the vibe just gave me like, I don't know, I just thought old Hollywood glam. And you know, I thought that would be fun to where we can all just dress the nines and be our own little celebrity for the night, you know? So you can go up to someone and be like, hey, I really like your old Hollywood glam look. Like, you did a good job. And then from there, you know, you can ask them if they would want to be your one connection for the night, and you guys can start chit-chatting, ask each other questions, get to know each other, exchange numbers, exchange social media. And then once you have asked each other all the questions, that is when you're going to find a photographer, because yes, there will be a photographer there. I don't know if there's going to be one or two. I'm still sorting out the details. I still need to get with my connects. But yeah, so you guys are going to find a photographer, and or actually, now I'm like actually working out these details in real time right now. Or you and that person can just, because I want to get this, like, you know, those like director's cut, like movie prop. I want to get one of those, and I want you guys to like take a picture with that, and like you're gonna take a picture with your new friend and post on your story, and basically say like, I'm at my first like self-love party. Tag the self-love model. This is my new friend, and you're gonna tag the self-love model, follow the self-love model Instagram account, and once you do that, you are going to be entered in to win a prize. Yes, there's going to be a prize, because I want there to be incentive for people to actually like go out of their comfort zone to participate, right? So yeah, that is gonna be how. So that is how the night is going to work. So from 9 to 11, that is the time for you to complete this challenge. And at 11, that is when I'm planning to like draw a winner and give that prize away. Voila! That is gonna be the first ever self-love party, self-love and connections. So I'm calling this the self-love party volume 1 connections, because obviously this is the first ever, so volume 1, and connections because that is the intention of the party, is to help you guys build meaningful connections with at least one new person. And for me, this is like a new take on partying, right? Like, it's like, we're not just partying mindlessly. We're not just partying to numb ourselves. We're not just partying to forget about what's going on with our lives. We're partying with intention. This is the new era, okay? We are partying with intention. And the intention of this event is to make a connection. So yeah, tickets are officially live, and if you guys have made it all the way to the end of this episode, you can use the code OPENHEART in all caps to get yourself a free ticket. I am so excited about this, and I hope you guys are as well. I'm like genuinely so proud of myself for following through with it and like coming up with this idea, this concept. And yeah, I'm just like excited to see what comes out of it. Regardless of what happens, I'm going to be proud of myself. And I feel like I already feel myself growing so much just from planning this event. Like, it hasn't even happened yet. I feel like I've already showed myself how capable I am, and that, yeah, like I can put this shit together, you know? I mean, with the help of other people. So yeah, let me make sure I've got everything I want to say out. Oh, and this event right now, I am planning for this to happen like every quarterly, so every season, because let's be honest, that's how often I like to go out. Like, I am so past like the going out stage of my life, and I am just like not that girl to be going out every weekend or even every other weekend. So every quarterly, every season is the perfect amount for me. And I feel like it gives me enough time to like process and reflect on this first event and to like how I want to plan the next one. And my intention with it is that like each season I want there to be a different focus for the party. So this first one we're doing connections, and then the next one, who knows what it'll be, you know? Or it can be connections again if I can't come up with something new. But knowing me, it'll most likely be something new. All right, guys, I believe that is everything for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening and for making it to the end. I hope to see you guys there, and I hope to get to connect with you guys soon. And remember to subscribe wherever you guys are listening to this podcast, and to share this event with other girlfriends or guy friends that you think would be interested. And I hope to see you guys soon. Bye. Whoa, it's been a minute. Okay. I can do this. Okay. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I can do this. I can do this. Is your